Let me tell you a story for the actor in you who didn't start early, for the one who spent years doing the right thing, working the 9 to 5, paying bills, putting dreams on pause because life demanded it. If that's you, then you need to hear this. Because Alan Rickman, yes, that Alan Rickman, didn't land his first film role until he was 42 years old. And that film? Die Hard. Hans Gruber, one of the most iconic villains in cinema history. First movie, 42, and it exploded. But let's back up, because what became before that moment is what matters most. Alan Rickman was born in working-class London. His dad died when Alan was just 8. That kind of loss changes a kid. It teaches you early that survival sometimes outranks dreams. So, Rickman put his artistic instincts aside. He followed the sensible path. Trained as a graphic designer, built a career, paid the bills. Responsible, reliable, stuck. He co-founded a successful design studio. On paper, he'd made it, but inside, he was suffocating. And here's your first RAD actor lesson. If your soul is whispering something louder than your job title, listen, because that whisper isn't going away. Alan did. He left the stability, the studio, the paychecks, all of it, and at nearly 30 years old, he walked into the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, RADA, surrounded by kids 10 years younger. No connections, no safety net, no guarantees, just the pull of something real. Now, imagine that. You're in your 30s, you're broke, you're in acting school with 19-year-olds quoting Shakespeare like they were born doing it. Every audition, they see your age before your talent. They don't say no to your face, they just don't call. That's a second RAD actor truth. Late bloomers don't get encouragement, they get silence. And you've got to move anyway. Rickman did. For years, he built quietly. Theater, small roles, repertory companies, one play at a time. He carved out a name for himself on stage, not with fame, but with excellence. And then one role changed everything. He was cast in Les Liaisons Dangereuses on stage. Cold, cunning, brilliant. That role got him noticed, and Hollywood came knocking. Let's pause here, because this is where most people think the story gets easy. It doesn't. He was 41. First film offer lands in his lap, and he nearly said no. Why? Because it was Die Hard, an action movie, and Alan Rickman was a classically trained actor. What the hell is this? He said when he read the script. I'm not doing an action movie. That's integrity. But he listened, took the meeting, got curious, and finally he said yes, but on his terms. He didn't play Hans Gruber as a raving lunatic. He played him as calm, educated, dangerous. The smartest guy in the room who knew it. And that performance changed the genre. Overnight, Alan Rickman became a star at 42. But here's where he did something radical. Hollywood tried to box him immediately. Villain roles, big money, typecast security, and Rickman said, no, let that land. After decades of waiting to be seen, he finally has a key to the kingdom, and he refuses to be reduced. RAD actor lesson. Fame that doesn't align with your soul is a trap, not a win. So he chose differently. He did theater, indie films, roles that paid less but meant more. He played heartbroken ghosts, noble colonels, sarcastic aliens, and yes, Professor Snape. A character so layered, Rickman made him unforgettable. He chased meaning, not approval. He protected complexity in the industry, in the characters, in himself. Behind the scenes, though, there was another battle. Alan Rickman was diagnosed with cancer years before anyone knew. He kept working, kept showing up, not for sympathy, because he believed fiercely that the work had to speak for itself. And it did. Even in his final films, Eye in the Sky, Alice Through the Looking Glass, he was commanding, razor sharp, alive. He didn't want the illness to become his identity. So he stayed quiet, professional, purposeful. And when he passed in 2016, the world was shocked. Not just because we lost him, but because he'd been sick for so long and no one knew. That's Alan Rickman. Grace in silence. Now here's what you need to remember. Alan Rickman arrived late. He arrived unconventional. And he arrived unwilling to shrink just to fit. They told him he was too old. He made too old iconic. They tried to call him a villain. He made villains layered, tragic, intelligent. They tried to reduce him. He resisted at every turn. So if you're listening to this and thinking, but I didn't go to acting school at 20, or I've spent too long in my day job, or who's going to cast me at my age? Stop. Alan Rickman is proof that none of that matters. What matters is this. Are you ready to back your talent with action? Are you willing to face silence with persistence? Are you courageous enough to wait and not settle? Because if the answer is yes, then you don't need permission. You need to start now. Wherever you are, however late it feels, because greatness isn't about when you arrive, it's about how much of yourself you bring when you do. Alan Rickman brought all of it, and so can you. This is your sign. Don't wait to be younger. Don't wait to be ready. Show up boldly, brilliantly, unapologetically. Because late doesn't mean less. It just means you're right on time.